Oh, good evening to our friends on the East Coast, and good afternoon to our friends on the West. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode, I believe, Robert, number 125 of Groove Swing Speaks. Am I correct about that?
Yes, indeed. And thank you, everybody, for being here on the show tonight. Yes, it is episode 125. And shout out to all my people back in New York on 125th Street and Amsterdam Avenue, and everybody else listening everywhere as well. I just had to get that shout out there.
All right, no problem at all. No problem at all. Yes, and we have a special guest on tonight, brought to us by our illustrious swing sister, Tanisha Holmes, and his name is Mark Braxton. Mark Braxton serves as a third grade educator at Fox Road Elementary within the Wake County Public School System. Beyond his professional work in education, Mr. Braxton is the host of the YouTube podcast, Living Life and Love, an accomplished public speaker and dedicated advocate for individuals diagnosed with, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, is it vitiligo?
Vitiligo.
Okay, all right. We'll talk about that in a little bit. He currently holds the position of co-leader for the North Carolina Vitiligo support community and is a member of the communication committee for the Global Vitiligo Foundation. His personal interests include the composition of short stories and poetry, as well as the fine arts of drawing and painting. Mr. Braxton adheres to the personal motto, is that vitiligo is not contagious, love is. Okay, absolutely, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on Facebook Live, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Also, those apps you can download from your Apple App Store, Studio W, from your Android, your Google Play Store, Studio W. The website is studiowbuzz.com, studiow.buzz, studiowbuzz.com, studiow.buzz. Either one of those will work, and also available on Alexa. Welcome to the set, Mr. Braxton. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Our pleasure. I want to thank Tanisha for introducing you to us. And Tanisha, let me unmute your mic there for a second. All right. We're getting a little feedback on your end, Tanisha.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Okay. So just lower any outside speakers or anything like external speakers or anything like that. All right. Tiffany Hilliard, one of our panelists, dedicated panelists as well, and Robert Hicks. Meet the panel, Mark.
Hello.
Right. So why don't we start this off with Tanisha? Tanisha, thank you for introducing us to Mr. Braxton. So I want you to start off the questioning and or statements.
Am I pronouncing it correctly, Mark Vitiligo? Is that right?
It's close enough. Vitiligo.
Close enough. Okay.
Okay.
Vitiligo. Okay. And that was supposed. It's like, what is it? You mentioned it too. You shared it with me that it's like something where I guess like the white cells or something like that attacks the melanin in your skin or something like that. Or you broke it down to me like it's it's your body attack. It's like autoimmunity, something like that. Yes. That could just kind of show up at any point. So I know that we're going to talk about that. And of course, we're going to talk about all the other talents that you have too, as far as like, with your arts, and you also make beats too, music and things like that too. So I don't think you put that in there too, that you make music for your school, which is great. I thought that was pretty cool too, for all the students, that they able to recognize your work, over the sound system at school. But the question I have, like, as far as like, I know you want, educate the world about it, about your condition, that, it's not, like you said, it's not contagious. And, basically, what is it? Like, so we can educate people, and tell us about 2 or 3 people that are famous that actually have suffered with that too, as well, if you want to say suffering or actually had that diagnosis.
Okay. Sounds good. So to start off, vitiligo is an autoimmune disease. But when we hear disease, we think, oh, there's something that's contagious. Mm-hmm. No, it's not contagious. What it is basically is our autoimmune system attacks the melanocytes, which are the cells that create our melanin. And it only attacks those melanocytes that create color. And what we've just discovered within the past couple of years is that we have melanocytes with other functions within our body. But for years, we only said, oh, it only creates color, but no. the first thing, as I always say, is not contagious. So I can't pass it along to somebody else. But basically, what it does, it creates the white patches you see, like on my hand. And I have patches growing up, moving up on my face, and my hair, the little white spot in my hair is vitiligo also. Um, there's truly no reasoning for it or understanding for it. We say autoimmune, but the researchers really don't know why it happens in only certain people, because it can happen in any stage in life with any race, no matter what, around the world.
So you said any race, because I think I've seen it like in other cultures too as well.
Mhm.
Not races, but I've seen it before too, like the variations of it too. And then so name off some famous people that actually, I don't want to say suffer, that has that particular condition. Let's say condition.
Okay, yeah, and some people do say suffer, and I say we always suffer from like anxiety and depression and those things that come along with having vitiligo. But you say three people, I can tell you two offhand. One is Winnie Harlow, who will be at the conference, and if you want me to get into that later, I can. She'll be at our conference this year in Charlotte. And of course, Michael Jackson. That was the most. I'm still going to say he is the most famous person with vitiligo, whether with us today or not. And actually, the 25th is considered World Vitiligo Day, and that's the same day that June 25th. That's the same day he passed away, and we use that same day to recognize people living with vitiligo around the world. Oh, and I'm the third person that's famous with vitiligo, so there you go.
There you go. I was waiting on that. Okay, there you go.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Tiffany?
Well, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
You're welcome.
I wanted to get into your background more. You are, is it third grade educator?
Third grade educator, yes. Thank you for saying
Okay.
that. I think a difference between teacher and educator, but yes.
Okay. So tell me, like, what inspired you to go that route to become an educator?
Well, I'm gonna start from the beginning. When I was in school, I was actually a mass comm major, but back then it wasn't that many jobs for us. So I've always worked with children, always loved camps, and always trying to teach kids something. And I always felt like it only takes a second to learn something new. And I decided to apply for the school system, and history is where it is now. I worked a couple of different departments as an IA, worked in the special ed department. I also worked in the CCR department, which works with kids with all types of needs. And for the past, going into year 4 now, I'm a third grade teacher, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What over the years? So how long have you been doing it? How long have you been teaching?
In the school system, this time around, 14 years. I was in the school system before for 10 years, and I left for a little bit, then I decided to come back. So I would say about 24 years altogether.
Okay. Okay. Have you noticed a big difference between the generation of children?
Yes. I'm gonna say the age of technology has really hurt our students, and I know as an educator, they want us to use a lot of technology, which technology can be great, but on the flip side, it has hurt our students where they don't want to read. They want everything instant, and the world doesn't work that way. Like I try to stress the importance of reading and writing, and that's a skill I feel like our students are losing unless you have an educator, or unless you have parents or somebody else in the community pushing you to read and write.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me ask you this in relation to the condition that you have, and you say you also work with students, that has had other conditions as well. Have you noticed a difference with their learning ability, or is it so much so because they feel that they're dealing with something, they feel they suppress, their ability to learn?
I have seen that where some students, where if they have other abilities or other challenges, they may use that to say, I can't do this, I can't do that.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna say I get it, because when you feel different than the world, sometimes you feel like you don't fit in. And when you feel
Mhm.
like you don't fit in, you don't try. And I always
Mhm.
encourage my students to try. Even if a child comes to me and says, I can't read, don't say you can't, just say we're going to work towards that goal. Maybe you can't read certain words, maybe you can't read multi-syllable words, but we're going to work on the basics. But that's with any condition, any challenge that people are living with. You know, I try to really encourage people not to say you can't, because we hold ourselves back, not the condition.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. So, in other words, you own the condition. Don't let the condition own you.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. I get. I'm. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let everybody else go.
No
I'll wait.
problem. Robert?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. It is definitely important for people to make sure that, especially starting out early, to make sure that kids get the idea of understanding that they are the ones in control, but also understanding that they can achieve.
Absolutely.
The one thing I had a chance to take a look at your website, Mr. Braxton, and also one of the things that you see on the spotlight, and I also posted it on various different platforms. So if you want to find out more information about Vitiglio, you can follow the website. But one thing that I noticed when I was reading is you would like for more people to know that Vitiglio is not a contagious disease.
Right.
For whatever reason, when people think about diseases on their hands or anything, they think it's something that easily contracted. Why is it that the idea is specifically it's a condition, but how important is it to let people know what vitiglio really is versus what it's not?
Right. It's important. And one thing we do here in North Carolina, we really push the education part, because people are aware of a lot of conditions. We're knowledgeable in that way, but we truly don't understand. And with vitiligo, there's leprosy. There's some people, I've heard people say that, oh, that's leprosy. No, leprosy is contagious and deadly. Vitiligo, it doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't even hurt me. It just changes me. That's it. And I think it's important, as we start spreading more education and awareness, that when people see somebody who looks different, they're not afraid. Because right now, there are some people that are afraid. I get the stares, I get the looks, you get the people that don't want to touch you because they don't know. And to me, that's their own ignorance in the day of technology, because you have a phone. And once you type in white patches on the skin, vitiligo is the top thing that pops up. And I feel like we have to educate the public how to educate themselves sometimes, because, there's a lack of knowledge.
Yes, in regards to the hearsay that people would believe, or whatever biases that they have, especially when it comes to something with skin condition.
Right.
And so definitely.
And I can add one thing too.
Sure.
If you don't mind, with people with vitiligo, we feel different than everybody else, because we know we look different. No matter what setting we go into, we're always going to stand out, no matter what. You go in the movies, lights off, lights come on, instantly people look, because they're like, ooh, what's wrong with his skin? If I wear shorts, people see my legs, they're like, ooh, what's wrong with his skin? And I feel like if you really want to know, ask. It's okay. Mm-hmm. I will educate you. I don't mind. I can take 5 minutes and tell you all about it. That's it.
Absolutely. And that definitely would ease, as I would probably say, ease some people's concerns and probably get them more educated. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Now, I understand that you live in the North Carolina area.
Yes.
Have you always lived in North Carolina, or where are you originally from?
Well, I was born in New Jersey, but I've lived in North Carolina pretty much all my life. I grew up in Friendship, which is Apex, but we still call it Friendship. And then I moved to Raleigh later in life. So I've been in Raleigh. I'm a North Carolinian.
Excellent. But you did say New Jersey, so at least it was part of the upper area where I'm originally from New York. So it was right. Claiming as tri-state, the first part. But
see,
see,
all my family's up north. My immediate family everybody moved down here, but everybody else, cousins, everybody else is still up north.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And one of the things that you also see here that you mentioned that you, in regards to vitiligo, in regards that you wrote stories and poetry based upon this.
Yes.
And basically, was that more of a way to be able to tell the story in a different light versus I guess, the scientific methods and such?
Actually, I started doing presentations for students at my school. One in particular, this is several years ago. She did not want to come to school. She would fight her mom in the parking lot because she had vitiligo as well. And she would see me, stare at me, and I can tell she wanted to talk, but she wasn't sure how to do it. So her mom asked if I could help, some type of something, you know. And I said, well, I'll come up with a presentation. And in that, I started writing a story. And the first one was called The Pride, a Vitiligo Story. And it's about a lion that developed vitiligo. And I explain in the story, you know, when you talk about your pride, you know, as people, we carry our pride. And a lot of our pride as people of color is built into our skin. And that's with this lion. And then his pride was also his family. And it showed how this condition changed him, where he no longer saw who he should be until later he discovered other animals with the same condition that changed him. That was the first story. And I had several others. But then I feel like there's an evolution happening, at least with myself. I can't speak for anybody else, but I want to tell stories about vitiligo, but in fun ways. So what I started doing on my YouTube page, coming up with unique stories as a poem first, and I put the poem to music, then I'll create a story behind it. One was Marshall V. It's about a U.S. Marshal that has vitiligo, and he's related to Bass Reeves, and try to add a little historical information in there. And then the latest project I just finished, which is probably I'm gonna call that one my baby. I had someone challenge me to write a vitiligo love story, and I said no. It's one of my friends from college. She was like, "Hey, you write poetry, right?" It's like, "Yeah." She said, "Are there any stories about vitiligo and relationships?" I said, "Well, there's stories about vitiligo and facts, and vitiligo as a child in school." She said, "What about love stories?" I'm like, "Nah, there's no love story." So she said, "You write poetry, but won't you write a love story?" And I was like, "Absolutely not," because I'm not writing a love story. You know, as a man, I'm like, I'm writing that. And as soon as we hung up, I started writing it. And that was back in 2020. And it's called The Patterns of Love, a Vitiligo Love Story. It started off as an ebook. And just this year, I decided to change the whole format. So now it's an audio story where all you got to do is kick back and listen to the music. Each song tells the next chapter in the story, and it's a full story with the beginning, middle. There's some conflict that happens. It's resolved, happy ending. And I plan on writing another one too. Now that I got the feel, I'm enjoying it.
Fantastic, excellent.
Yes.
And real quick, going back to Tanisha, yes, we talked about music, and I found, you know, I love using different apps and technology to help out in certain ways. And I also know some people are against technology, but for someone who likes to write but can't sing, technology is my friend, you know. So I'm starting to embrace technology to a certain extent, but keeping my writing and really enjoying it. And I also have a playlist. I call it the mixtape. The Patterns of Love, the mixtape, which actually kind of tells the story without telling the story. It's just strictly through music. So I'm having fun with it.
Mark, I want to ask you, with vitiligo, do you find that once people listen to you, they get a better understanding? Because I've seen, I don't want to use the word condition. I'm just going to use it for the sake of this discussion here. But others with that, let's say condition just for the sake of discussion. Do you find that once you speak to people, there's a better understanding? And I've seen people with, let's say, the condition, but I didn't know what it was. And I want to thank you for educating us, you know, on what it is. Like you said, it's not contagious or anything like that. Right. It's just a condition, a different condition that you have. All of us have some condition.
Absolutely.
Everybody has some, but, you know, and more, some are more pronounced than others. But do you find that people really appreciate you sharing your story with you, sharing what it is? Do you find that people really appreciate the fact that you are sharing this information with them?
They do. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't always have vitiligo. I didn't develop vitiligo until I was about 26. I'm in my mid 50s now. So let's say about 20 something years ago. And I didn't know a lot about it. I saw other people, just like everybody else. I saw people didn't know what it was, didn't know what to call it. Not until I started developing like a little spot. And in the 90s, there wasn't a lot of education behind it. You know, we still didn't know, we knew what to call it, but we didn't know all the facts we know now. And I feel like as technology has advanced, as the medical field has advanced, we're starting to learn more. And that's given me an opportunity to educate myself. And one thing I've done is got myself in a position to work with the Global Vitiligo Foundation to learn directly from the doctors and researchers and all the organizations that put money behind vitiligo research. And what was helpful for me as well is I have a podcast. So I talked to some of the doctors. They've shared information. I've gone to a scientific symposium this past spring in Denver to learn from other researchers and doctors to find out the latest in technology or the latest in the medical advances, or even to learn more about vitiligo. And it's funny, the more we learn, the more we don't know. We learn something else we got to find out. So I find it fascinating. But yes, to answer your question, I do like to teach other people about vitiligo. And I feel like it helps them have a better understanding of my condition, and calling it a condition's fine. When we go before Congress, we call it a disease so we can get the money. So yeah, condition's fine.
Okay, very good, very good.
Yes.
Now, going back to your education and your educational background, and you chose the younger people. I have an idea why, but I want you to share with us. Why did you choose the elementary, third grade, to be specific? You could have chosen middle school, high school, or maybe even college. Why the third grade?
All right. I started off at middle school. They put me in trailer 10. Trailer 10 was in the back of the school, away from everybody else in the parking lot. And that was the throwdown class. Everything that happened in that class. And I said, you know, I stayed there for about a year and a half, but I said, if I'm going to make an impact on a child's life, I got to start when they're young. You know, a lot of times I say, like, I have a lot of friends that are educators. They rather do middle school or high school. They don't want to deal with what they call the babies. And I said, no, those younger kids need us. You know, particularly men of color, Black men in particular, they need us in the classroom. And I'm seeing the impact. You know, just simple as walking down the hall, I got kids, hey, Mr. B, Mr. B, Mr. B. I don't know these kids, but they all want to be in my class. Can't have everybody. But I think it is important to start when they're young, start educating them when they're young, teaching them the value of education, respect, how to work together. All these things matter because when they become adults, we want them to be able to treat everybody as human beings, you know, not what we're seeing today.
In the classroom, how would you describe your style of educating versus your peers?
Oh, okay. I have a lot of fun. I'm the fun teacher. I'm the superhero teacher. Like a lot of things in my classroom centered around superheroes and, you know, all the 80s properties, but also like to break things down. So let's take Peter Pan, for instance. The kids have to read Peter Pan in third grade. Oh, we dig. I'm just going to stand in front of you and I'm going to teach you. Like, no, I'm going to be walking around the class. If I find, hey, did y'all hear that? Did they, you know, I'm one of those teachers. I will stop in a heartbeat. We'll break down what just happened, what was said. I'm animated at times, you know, I'm silly at times. I might even draw a picture on the board for them to get a visual idea. So I try to use my talents as well and have fun with it. So I guess you can say I'm a fun teacher to a certain extent, but I also could be a strict teacher.
Interesting. Because, you know, especially that you remember those teachers, even though it's been a while since most of us have been in the third grade,
yes,
you know, but you remember those teachers, they have an impact. So I want to applaud you for doing that because, like I said, you could have chosen the middle school, high school, or college or something like that, but you decide to go down and lay the foundation for our young people. Tanisha?
I like to say, because we all have paint on our, like God paint us based off of our colors and stuff like that. Yeah. So I like to consider it that. That's what I would call it, like paint. So that's going to be my new terminology. Maybe you can share it with your third graders and things like that too as well. But you had mentioned this week, I think it's the 25th, that is like there's a conference in Charlotte that is talking about vitiligo, and there's something about Winnie the supermodel. Isn't she like a supermodel, something like that? And then she's got a ticket item for like what, $1 million per 2 seconds or something like that too as well. So tell me a little bit about her too as well, as far as like did she change? Or I mean, if you don't want to, if you don't want to share too much information, but I know you all interact with each other, but like now with her new fame, does she still respect the fact that she has that condition, or I know she uses it to capitalize, but I think you understand what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, the conference is actually in Charlotte this year, the 26th through the 28th.
26, okay.
Yeah, that's the conference. So we still have World Vitiligo Day, but then the conference is like the 26th through the 28th.
Okay.
And she will be there this year. And she's going to be there to work with the young people. And her first time ever attending a conference was last year. I didn't make it last year, so I've never met Winnie, but I'll probably get a chance to meet her this year because I'm the MC for the whole weekend. And so I'm sure I'll get a chance to meet her. But my understanding is that she feels at home. I understand she lives a lifestyle that many of us would never see because she's up there with the millionaires and doing all this stuff. And but when you get a chance to, I feel like she came home and it probably changed her in some way that she wants to come back and be a part of it. And I think it's a good thing. I think once you get around people with other conditions, it humbles you. And I could share something with you real quick. You mentioned paint. So a lot of us do look at our skin as God's masterpiece. I'm fascinated with the skin sometimes because I like to pull out shapes like we be looking at clouds and I'm like, oh, I got this on my skin, I got this, but not everybody's there. There's some people that's still devastated by looking at themselves in the mirror. You can't stop it. We'll get to treatments later, but in terms of enjoying having fun with your skin, the masterpiece that we have there, I tell my kids sometimes I put my hands together. There's a map. You got to find the buried treasure. I tell them it's bio-enhanced camouflage. I tell my students that you have a walking science experiment. So I've learned to embrace the fun side of it. Although I still have my moments because I can put on shorts to walk outside and come right back in the house like, no, I'm not good.
I thought your legs were fine to me. I don't recall anything. I don't.
Tanisha, we're good at hiding. When you have vitiligo, you're good at pretending that you're good.
Okay.
I can act like I'm fine, and I can see when people stare, but I'm just like, okay, if I'm here doing this, I'm going to focus on doing this, and then I'm going to go home. So, and just to share a little bit about vitiligo, because this is an important segue into it. It does create a lot of anxiety. It creates a lot of stress. Some of us have dealt with depression. You have to figure out how you're going to manage that depression. The anxiety is probably one of the bigger things too, where you're okay in this moment, but the next moment you're not. For me to wear shorts, that was a challenge. And that's something I had to get over. It was one of two things: burn up when it's 100 degrees, wear jeans, or put on some shorts. Okay. And I finally had to make that decision.
And that makes sense when you said that. So that's a good question. So you're saying burn up, I guess, because it's hot and you're covering yourself up. But do you, because I get sunburned. I just had a sunburn like 3 weeks ago from an outdoor event. So, and sometimes some people think that people that have color to their skin that we cannot burn. I was raised as a kid, like, oh, you're black. You can't get a sunburn. That's not true. You'd be burnt up just like everybody else. So my question to you, and that's a good question. So when you're out, with the different variations of our paint, do you feel like certain parts of your skin, does it burn easily?
Oh yeah, there are two things. For one, when it's hot, my body's extra hot. And I think for one, I'm going to ask this question over during the conference because I get the chance to actually talk to the doctors directly. But because there's no melanin protecting my skin, I feel like the UV rays are going directly into my skin. Like my body feels hot when it's hot outside, extra hot. In terms of sunburn, yes, I can put on sunscreen, but I have to keep applying it. I can go to the beach. Some people can't, but I can go to the beach. But I know after about an hour and a half, I got to get out the sun. I got to make sure I keep applying the sunscreen too.
Okay, that makes sense. Makes perfectly good sense. Okay,
because if you look at it, there's no no pigmentation in my skin. It
Yeah,
is pure
yeah.
white. And
Mhm.
the best way to show somebody or demonstrate that is take a Caucasian person and put their hand up and put your hand up next to them,
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
can truly see the difference.
Interesting.
Oh,
Interesting.
that is interesting. Yeah, that is. And then you said it's totally different from leprosy,
Yeah,
especially like in the Bible, which I like how you said that's contagious, and which
right.
makes sense because the dogs wouldn't even lick the wounds. But I love the fact that you did distinguish between those two as well.
Absolutely.
That's
Right.
powerful.
Well,
Yeah.
I had no
Right.
choice. And I would tell you, I
Right.
had no
Right.
choice because on social media, somebody said vitiligo is white leprosy.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
to me, it was like, okay, time to educate someone, and
Right.
I did my thing, and yeah, and that's who I am today. I will educate you.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, Mark. Before I toss this over to Tiffany, I got a question. Is vitiligo? Is it hereditary?
Oh, good question. It can be, and they don't understand why. For some people, they say it's trauma induced. For some people, they say it's hereditary, but they still don't know why. They don't know how. But my thought is, and I'm going to ask the doctors too, is there a dormant gene that lies within every one of us, but it only
Mm.
comes out in some people based on what happens? I don't know. And honestly, they don't know. They're still trying to figure it out. But I can say it runs in my family. My mother
Mhm.
has vitiligo on her legs, and there are many types of vitiligo. So that's something we can get into a little bit later. There's at least 8 identified types.
Mm. And is it something that's worldwide? Say people in Africa, are there people with the condition in Africa? And
Every continent, every
every
country,
continent.
yes. Yeah. And there's no, some people can say only black people. It's more noticeable in our skin, but it's around the world. And I've met
Around the
people from
world.
all over. Yes. Mhm.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Tiffany?
Okay, so I was reading a little bit of your bio, and it said something along the lines of poetry. Um, can you tell us some information on that? Like, have you always been a poet? Like, what drew you to that world? And are you able to spit something off the top?
Okay, let's back up first. I'm not gonna be able to spit anything off the top because there's so much coming out of this brain. I'm like, oh gosh. But I've always I'm a 70s baby. You know, of course, in the 80s, everybody was rapping, it was all hip hop. So that's where I think a lot of it started. But then even when I went to college, I was just sitting and write down my thoughts. Um, and in the form of poetry. And I like poetry. I call myself a storyteller because I like to tell stories through poetry.
Mm-hmm.
I think as I've gotten older, I've watched my poetry evolve into what I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then I find, and I write a lot about a little bit of everything. If you look, most times you see relationship stuff because I feel like that's what we struggle with a lot in the world with our
Mm-hmm.
relationships. But
Mm-hmm.
then sometimes I'll write about what's happening in the world. Sometimes if I don't know, when my father passed away, I wrote a poem for my father. So just whatever comes to my mind. And most times it's in the middle of the night. I'm trying to sleep. Midnight hits, and I'm like, oh, gotta write this poem down. and I'm like, God, please let me go to sleep. And he's telling me, well, after you finish writing, then I'll let you go to sleep. And that's how it works. So when you say reciting something off the top of my head, honestly, I can't. There's so much in there, and I'm always trying to write it down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you go to the poetry slams?
I haven't been to one. I was planning
No.
on going several years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I chickened out 3 times.
Mm.
And the fourth time I was going to go, I was all ready for it, got myself pumped up, was going to go with some friends in college. COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
And once COVID hit, I feel like that gave me a chance to, I think, reinvent myself and how I write, what I write about,
Mm-hmm.
how I put my words together. And I feel like from there to now, I'm a totally different poet, totally different writer. And that's what I say a storyteller, because I like to write poetry, but it also tells a story.
Okay. Okay. Are you, I was saying, I don't know if you know the comedian, are you more so like the Ali Sadiq type of storyteller? You know what I'm saying? Or like, you know how Dave Chappelle, could they tell the stories, you know what I
Um,
mean?
I like Dave Chappelle too. I like the way Dave Chappelle tells the stories because he'll be very serious with something, and next thing you know, the punchline comes at the end. But he's also teaching you something, and I feel like when I write poetry, I'm trying to teach you something. There's a story behind it. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not. I'm just writing. And some of it can be found on my Facebook page. If you go to the section that says Vitiligo theme music. So now I'm putting my poetry to music, and yeah,
I love that.
And just having fun with it. You got to be able to enjoy what you do.
Okay. Well, I hope from this interaction, this conversation we're having tonight, that you find yourself going to a poetry slam. I hope that you make it this year, and I hope that you will have the courage enough to go up there and share your gift.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And if I'm not slamming that way, I'm a slam to the world or some other way. I mean, it's out there. You know what? You got to step out of your comfort zone. I think a lot of times we get into this zone where I can't go this way, I can't go that way. I got to stay right here, and I'm learning how to step out of it and just be a risk taker. And that's one thing we teach our students. And I'm like, oh, even as an adult, I got to do the same thing. So I'm getting there. It's a process.
Outstanding.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Mark, question, and then we'll go to Robert. Do you involve your students in the poetry, the third graders? You have them write poetry?
Absolutely
And
do.
How much fun is that?
Well, what I show my students that you can write a full story in 5 minutes or less.
That's right.
And I start them, give me a subject. Okay, cool. Tell me what happens next. And we keep going in that way. And I said, how long did it take us? 3 minutes? Great. So you can write a full story in 3 minutes. You just have to be able to put your ideas on paper. I have them doing poetry, which is built into our curriculum anyway. But I feel like if they see me as the teacher writing, they get more excited. If I'm writing a story with them, they get excited. So sometimes if I give them an assignment, I'm going to do it also. And then I'm going to share it with them. And I've seen kids develop a love for writing. But sometimes I have to tell them, we're not doing that right now. We moved on to a different subject. I need you to focus, but I'm glad they're writing. And that's something I encourage them to do, even for homework. I want them to read and write every day. I need them to practice.
What a wonderful way to teach. Because they're developing a skill, they're learning also, and then they get a chance to express themselves. That is fantastic. Robert?
Absolutely. Now, I had a chance also. Now, the program basically is for kids. It's at all age ranges. It's not just young children, but also children for near ages. Well, basically put it this way: elementary school all the way up to high school.
Are you speaking in regards to the conference?
With regards to the conference, yes.
Okay. So the conference, there are two different sections. So we have the conference for the adults, which would be, your later teens and up to adults. And then there's also a children's program, in which that would be like your younger teens all the way down to maybe 5 years of age. And they have a full weekend of events and activities and some leadership built into it, some fun activities. Whereas what we're doing for the adults, we get a chance to learn from the doctors, the researchers. We have breakout rooms that deal with relationships and medical community and all types of things. This year is our 10th year anniversary. So we're actually celebrating from 2016, the first conference, to 2025. And with us kicking off the next 10 years. And we have all types of activities built into it. We're gonna have a great time. And if people are not having a great time, they're in the wrong place, because I'm gonna have a good time. And there's also another program that happens after the conference for kids. That is Camp Victory. That's a smaller camp, but it still has all the activities for kids and their families to enjoy themselves at the Great Wolf Lodge. So we have a lot going on in Charlotte.
Fantastic. Now, I hope this conference continues on for the next 10 years ahead.
Absolutely.
Because it is a topic that is definitely important. It's a topic that people need to learn more about and not basically just think to their own biases or opinions about it.
Right.
because in this day and age, misinformation is definitely considered more like a cancer than basically even worse than vitiligo, basically.
Absolutely. And one thing about this year too, we completely sold out the conference. This is the first time ever it is sold out. So usually there's about 175 people. This year, 350 people.
Outstanding.
And we had to turn people away because we can't take anybody else. So we think next year even bigger.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
Yes.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay. Hey, Mark, before we go to Tanisha, it's well documented and confirmed that children who learn a second language or play a music instrument or in the arts, it kind of expands their capacity to learn.
Yes.
And with you and your writing, do you find it to be true as well? Your writing, you also mentioned that let's read this. Your personal interests include composition of short stories and poetry, as well as fine arts, drawing, and painting.
Yes.
Do you have your students drawing and painting as well?
Maybe not too much painting in school because they do have their art class, but we do draw as well. So if the students are writing a story, I'll tell them after you finish your story and I look at it, you can draw a picture related to your story.
Outstanding.
Some kids try to cheat and they'll do like a stick figure. No. I need details. I need you to put more into it. Be proud of your work.
Outstanding. I love it. I absolutely love it. Tanisha.
Yeah, he don't be playing. So I had two questions. You were going to share with us about the 8 different conditions. That was one thing. And then 2, like with your condition, it's not as advanced as most people I've seen before. Because I got a girlfriend that's from the island. She's got it. And it was pretty advanced. Kind of came. And then she had like a couple spots in her hands and her thumbs and pinky. The next thing you know, it was kind of like all over her body. So how is it pretty advanced, or is the progression kind of slow, or like... And would you completely not have any pigmentation at some point? That's the question.
Well, vitiligo is interesting because you could put 20 people in a room and it's going to look different for every person.
Okay.
Let's take our community. We have a lady, Katrina. She's had it for 10 years and she's lost almost all of her pigmentation. I've had it since, 1995, 96. And I say I'm spotted, like a cheetah. There's spots everywhere. It's just starting to creep up into my face. Around my mouth, I've always had deep pigmentation, but you can't tell because I have darker facial hair. I have 2 spots in the corner of my eye, and the gray hair here, there's a spot under there. I don't know what it's going to do. And that's the thing about vitiligo. You don't know how much pigmentation you're going to lose. You could regain pigmentation without treatment. It has happened for some people. But we're starting to think, I was talking to a gentleman from New York, and we were thinking that maybe a lot of it's related to our emotional stress, not necessarily physical stress, because people think all stress is the same. But I say, no, when you're emotionally stressed about things, a lot can happen to your body. And I start paying attention. I'm like, oh, I'm getting more spots. So that means there's something bothering me emotionally, whether it's, take out my mom's caretaker when she's sick. That puts me in a different headspace, or when I'm frustrated at school when the kids don't pass the test, that's emotional stress. Sometimes some relationships can bring on that emotional stress. Sometimes just being in our own headspace about whatever can bring on that emotional stress. So I try my best not to stress out about things, but that doesn't always work. Now with that, Tanisha, I'm gonna answer your question about the different types. So there are several, they put them in 2 categories, but there are so many different types. Like I'm generalized. That means it's just spots everywhere. And there are some people who are segmental. That means it could be only on one part of the body, but never cross over to the other side. There's mucosal, which is the one that's a little more controversy for some people. It could be in your nasal passages. It could be in your mouth, and it also could be in your genital areas. And that's it, nowhere else. There's confetti, which is the latest one, and there are spots all over the body. I have confetti. And what happens, those thousands of little spots begin to merge and form larger spots.
I see.
There's acrofacial, which can just be on your face. And there's a couple other types. I can't remember them all right now, but And it is interesting because there's one gentleman in the community, it's just on one side of his face, like his eyebrows white on just one side, half his goatee and beard just white.
Hmm.
It's just so different. And we don't understand why it spreads faster than some people. But it does. Some people, they have lost so much pigmentation, whereas others, I get people to tell me in the community sometimes, well, you don't have a lot on your face. I said, well, I have it, but you can't see it because if I cut all this off, then you can see the white spots. The spots there in the neck. I do have lighter spots on my face, but they haven't developed fully white yet. So I don't know what it's going to do, but I'm at a stage in my life where I accept it until I don't. Oh yeah,
That's
I might.
good.
Yeah, I accept it right now until I don't. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Okay.
And Mark, tell us a little bit about your podcast, Living Life and Love. What do you discuss then on your podcast, and when and where can they listen to it?
Okay. So this is round 2. The first time I did Living Life and Love was with Vid Friends, which is a larger community, and we had a global outreach. But I enjoyed it, but it was just radio. Like you couldn't see the person, you really couldn't interact with them in that way. But I podcasted for them for like 3 years through the pandemic, pretty much. And then I decided I needed to take a step back because there was a lot happening with my dad being sick and school, and I just needed a break. But then I was at a conference and one of the doctors said, "Hey, can't wait to get on your podcast." And I was like, "Oh, you mean the one I got rid of?" I said, "Okay, let me rethink this." So I decided to come back through YouTube because I wanted to do things differently. I will talk to anybody. I don't just talk to people with vitiligo, although it's a vitiligo-centered podcast. For one, I want you to see that I'm a human being. I'm normal. I just have spots. That's it. And that's one of the big campaigns we're doing here in North Carolina is normalizing living with vitiligo. So I'll talk to singers. I've had artists on. I've had mental health professionals and, all types of people because I feel like everybody deserves to have their story told. Everybody's story is important. And you had mentioned before, I'm not sure who exactly mentioned it, that we all live with different things, whether you can see it or whether you can't see it. We all have some type of challenges we have to deal with, Now, the podcast itself is still Living Life in Love, and it's on YouTube. You look up my name, Mark Braxton, or look up Living Life in Love with Mark Braxton, it'll show up. And I have, 2 different sections. I have my regular podcast with the different people I interview. Then I also have now the videos I'm making. I think there's like 5 videos on there right now with the patterns of love and some other stories. So, and I'm always trying to find ways to reinvent myself. And really, I had people ask me, well, how many followers and how many? Sometimes it's not about the followers. Sometimes it's about making the connections with the people who need to hear the stories. And I think we get lost in all the how many audience people here. No, the right people listen. I said, and they can download it and share it out with somebody else. I'm okay with that.
Okay, very good. Tanisha?
I was looking at the information. Huh?
Let's see. Do we go to you or Robert next? Robert, I think it's
So I
Robert.
think it's Robert. It's gonna be Robert next, but it's okay.
All right.
Absolutely. So in light of everything that has been, it has a lot of information that you do a lot with vitiligo. And we will get the pronunciation of this right one day. We even have the phonetic breakdown of it
No
to
worries.
be able to say it correctly. But what do you like to do? Say, for instance, I know this is a very big topic, but aside from this, what like some of your activities that you like to do on the side?
The biggest thing I like to do now is write and creating music and putting together my music and enjoying it. I only listen to the radio half the time because I done made a song or something I want to listen to. Advocacy is a big part, but I just want to enjoy life. Like I love movies. I'll go see every movie that's out there. I was actually scheduled. I thought I was going to go to the movies earlier, but I said, nah, I'm gonna wait. But yeah, I love movies. That helps me forget about the world. I'll go to an arcade. I'll go to a show. I'll go to a live event. I just like to get out and enjoy life. I need to go on vacation. I'll get there one day soon.
Yes, probably best thing to do now with everything going on. Just make sure you plan ahead.
Absolutely.
For things to do. And just as an aside note, if anybody has anything to do, if they're not doing anything in Chicago on July 8th to the 12th, that's Groove 5 Groove and Swing 5 Swing will be in Chicago for a national convention. It's going to be 5 wonderful days. People are going to be spreading out everywhere. You're going to see black and white and black. You're just going to be sick of us. But it's going to be a good time, fun, food, festivities. And we're going to do business too. But I want you to get you out there to the conclave, July 8th through 12th. Just want to throw that plug out there. But, just for people who listen and want to have something to do for the summer. And summer in Chicago is great. So.
And I support other Greeks too. I'm a Sigma, Phi Beta Sigma.
So, yeah, I was about to say that. I was like, he's blue and white. I'm about to say, I was like, what in the world? What you doing, Robert?
That's right.
As I'm saying, but we show love as well.
Absolutely. Look, I'm wearing a red shirt. I mean,
I said, okay.
Because it look crimson as well from this vantage point.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's all love.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We spread the love. If you notice, we have not only grooves and swings on this broadcast here, but we'll have Sigmas, Kappas. It doesn't matter. We want to bring
we don't care.
information that we can find. And we've had all types of people from all types of all organizations. And we just wanted, and the idea when we created this show, and I want to give a shout out to the illustrious, fabulous Rock. She's our program director. And without her, man, this program wouldn't be what it is. Like I said, episode 125, I believe she has us booked all the way up to March of 2027.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. Awesome. She just does a fabulous job. But we bring people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, education, experiences, and things like that. Because we want to share with our global audience, the best of the best, and also show and highlight our culture. So absolutely. I'm going to Tanisha, and then we'll come back in a minute. Tanisha.
I was gonna let you know Tiffany has left. She left earlier for the show, but just also Mr. Braxton, not Tony Braxton. I don't know if you're ever related to Tony Braxton. They have asked that before. Give us those dates again for the convention that you're going to in Charlotte. You said 26, and then you said there's 300 people, and then you said that you're the MC. So do you have like a subject line that you can share with us too as well that you're going to be talking about besides anything like off track or whatever?
Look, I have to MC the entire conference from the beginning to the end. So Friday we start off, they're doing a glam event. So people want to take, dress your best, come in, and then we're doing a fashion show featuring people with vitiligo. And then Winnie Harlow's supposed to be there, but she's not going to walk, but she'll be there. So I'll get the chance to kind of open up the conference, be up there with the mayor or whoever else is going to be there. Then Saturday I open up the conference again. But I do have a co-MC as well. She's out of Dallas, Texas, so she'll be there. We'll pretty much open up the entire conference, and it's our show from there. And we're introducing people and bringing them in. And the highlight for me, I get a chance to sit on a panel with the doctors and ask them questions. And it was funny when they first introduced it. They said, Mark Braxton, MD. I was like, oh, give me a title. All right, can I get some of that money? But I'm looking forward to actually talking with the doctors and sharing and finding and I guess picking their brains because I have a lot of questions, so it should be fun.
And speaking of doctors, I'm going to ask you something. I know at one point in time that you were not necessarily willing to take. There's certain medications that you could take or tablets you could take that can help reduce the condition or something like that. Are you still at that place, or you're still open now? Are you open to taking any type of experimental drugs or something like that to be able to soften the condition?
If they came up with a cure, I may take it. I may consider it. Treatments, the way I see treatments, it's something you're going to have to use for the rest of your life. Most of the treatments out there do not work for the hands or feet. My feet are white. They do not work for the hands or feet. Some of the other extremities of the body, they do not work for that as well. Most of it is designed to work on the face. Opsilura is the only FDA approved medication that people are seeing good results, but you have to keep using it. And one lady that used it turned her skin orange, so she stopped. So you're going to have different results. And that's the one thing about any type of treatment. What works well for this person may not work well for the other person. And my understanding is that I've had it for so long, the treatment might not work anyway.
I got it. And I was going to say one more thing too, because I know William was, I'm sorry, William, but I noticed that sometimes I know because it's like not necessarily predominantly, but it is kind of more obvious or more prevalent or more visible in African-American than others. I know there's like a study too, like I have a girlfriend that has, like, she suffers from keloids, and there's not a lot of research on that. And there's not a lot of extensive research on it because it doesn't necessarily cater to a certain class of people. Did you ever feel like that was the case with you with your condition, or just in general, or what you've experienced too?
I never get in clinical trials because they say I don't have enough on my face.
Okay,
so
I got it.
Like,
okay.
When I have it, like, it's white all around, but I still don't have enough. They want it all over your face, so I don't even try anymore.
Okay.
But in terms of Caucasian people or people of lighter complexion, you can see it better in the summer. Like if they're out now, you can see the difference in their skin because they still tan. Yeah,
I've seen that
part
before.
With vitiligo does not tan at all.
I've seen that. Okay, I've seen that before. Okay, got it. Okay, makes sense. Okay, well, thank you. Okay,
you're welcome.
Yeah,
Robert.
Yes, absolutely. I just wanted to thank you very much for being on the show today and explaining a lot of information that hopefully the people out there will get a chance to absorb, take in, and also get also share with their family and friends. It is a serious topic, but also it's one that a lot of people have lived through, go through, and they are advocates from it. You can see the information right here if you want to find out more by sending an email to info@global vitiligo foundation.org. That's info@globalvitiligofoundation.org.
And I could let them know I'm on their communications committee. So if you send an email to them, they'll get it to me. I think right now I'm the only mark in the community, so they know who I am. So they're
wow,
send it to me. Yes.
That's something that's special too.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, again, Mark, thank you so much. Tanisha, brilliant.
Yes, thank you.
Robert, brilliant. Hey, guys, I got a surprise for you. I just found a new co-host for my Thursday show, and that is none other than Robert Hicks. He'll be on with me this coming Thursday, every fourth Thursday of the month. He's coming on the Mad Mike and Wild Will Coast to Coast show. I just need to find a tagline for Robert. I'm thinking about calling him Robert the Hitman Hicks. I'm thinking about doing that. So
I was probably thinking about like Ravishing Rob or something of that nature. I got to come up with a name. And Tanisha said, no.
Nah. It's okay.
So I have to find a tagline within the next 2 days.
That's right.
Like Rock and Rob, like Rock and Robin, something of that nature.
Mark, you got any suggestions? Mark, you creative. What do you think?
Gosh.
I'm not knocking you, Robert. It's fine.
No problem.
I don't have anything in my mind right now.
I like the Hitman. You know, as in musical hits.
I got you.
Yeah, I like.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Never started that way.
Oh, okay. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And come back tonight. We have the Soul Cafe is at 8:15 p.m. Right here on all of our networks. We're on LinkedIn. We're also on Facebook. The apps is Studio W. You can take that with you each and every day. Studio W. If you love music, check it out. The website is studiow.buzz. Also available on Alexa. So, Mark, thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
I hope you had as much fun as we did.
I did. I appreciate it.
Hey, guys, enjoy your Tuesday and come back in just a few minutes and we can check out the Soul Cafe. Doors open at 8:15. All right, guys.
Bye, Mark. See you later, Mark.
Bye-bye.
Jerry.